This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Looking for these better days.
It is Wednesday, September 3rd. I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's what you need to know to make today a better day. We are a day away from the kickoff of the 2025 NFL season, and we have had some movement on the spread between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. Our picks up on BetterDay.com and here on the Better Day podcast continue to stay hot in Major League Baseball as we have now won 10 of our last 11 plays. You want to make sure that you are subscribed at BetterDay.com. Get those picks. They are included in the email newsletter that we send out every single morning, and you can always go to the picks page and check for updates throughout the day. We cashed with Nolan McLean going over his strikeout number, and we cashed with the Yankees and Astros going over the 7.5 last night. Another case where numbers matter. You had plenty of time to get the over 7.5. It closed at 8. It was still a push at 8, but you had plenty of time to grab the 7.5. Sometimes you just got to shop around, and you got to be diligent when it comes to these numbers. Mackenzie Rivers joins me here on this edition of Better Day. And Mackenzie, let's start in football, where, as I mentioned, kickoff of the 2025 season is going to be tomorrow night. We'll have more preview of tomorrow's game coming up on tomorrow's episode. But let's talk about this point spread, Mac, because we saw here on Tuesday the Eagles shoot up to an 8-point favorite, 8.5-point favorite, 9-point favorite before coming back down and settling as an 8-point favorite right now over the Dallas Cowboys. What'd you make of this line movement yesterday?
So let's break down the line movement. It was essentially from 7 to 9 or 7 to 8.5 in some spots, 7 to 8, whatever that is. However, how much of that 7 it was built in that Micah Parsons likely wouldn't be 100%. We talked about this. We actually said it looks like value because Micah Parsons won't be 100% if he's back, which he ended up not being. I think it's an appropriate line movement, if not a little short. The Eagles have dominated offensively with Jalen Hurts. They did score 40 with Kenny Pickett as their signal caller. I feel like this is a rollover game. The Super Bowl champions have done very well to start the season historically, especially at home when they almost always had the home game. I feel like I would lay it with the Eagles. I know we don't do teasers because of the Vegas going crazy, but it seems like an ideal teaser candidate. And then you get to hold it for a couple days and just think about all the value you have as you wait for the Broncos to be upset by the Titans or whatever it is.
Well, that's why I think Eagles are the selection in Circa Survivor. I know that people might not want to select it thinking, I don't want to burn the Eagles early. Look, the Eagles have a difficult schedule this year. I agree. They're a double-digit win team. They're going to win this division. But you get that win on Thursday, you just sit back and relax on that Sunday, and you root for chaos because I don't see the Eagles losing this football game. Yeah, if you want to tease them down now that they're at 8 or 8.5. And this is what's interesting because I do think sportsbooks do this. Now, we've known them to do this in the past. I'm wondering if they're going to be doing it this year just because of the odds on teasers are now, the sports books are taxing you even more. Like minus 120s are gone. Minus 125s are even gone. I've heard that DraftKings is going to minus 135, which is crazy on teasers. But we've known sports books to push the lines to protect against teasers. And so you'll see the line get pushed up to, from to 8.5 to 9 so that 6-point teaser now pushes you to 3 and doesn't push you below the 3. I wonder if that's what the books are doing here as we get closer and closer to kickoff, if this line was moved because of teaser protection.
Definitely. You see Bet Online, a common place you want to tease. Well, you don't want to tease currently at Bet Online. Find another place for your action because they haven't changed the VIG there. They've still had it at minus 125, but they do have the 1.9 on the board that I'm looking at right now, so you can't go through it. By the way, to verify what I just said, home teams on Thursday to start week 1 14-7-1 ATS since 2002.
I love that. What's the average cover margin there?
Covering by 1.5 a game, so nothing crazy, pretty much what you'd expect. But getting
Okay.
it done, that's why. But if you talk about a tight lack of variance, that's exactly what you want in week one. Because remember how crazy last year was? The first 4 weeks, every favorite that was greater than 7 points essentially lost. They were like 5-19 straight up to start the season. If you're going to see chaos, you're likely going to see it early in the season. That's true last year as well as historically. We were talking off air about some of those trends. I feel like that it's a great catbird seed to be in, to have the Eagles in your Survivor pool already through. I'm actually recording a Survivor podcast with my man Dan Rivera this year, but we're sticking to our Thursday schedule, so we will be behind the 8 ball, but we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll survive. I'll tell you that much right now.
FanDuel right now minus 134 on 2-leg 6-point teasers.
That's, yeah. I mean, just have a sign on the website that says, we appreciate everyone that likes teasers. We're not a teaser website. Like, just take yourself out of the business rather than, like, if you went to a gas station and you wanted Snickers and they said like $7, just don't sell Snickers. Like, you don't, like, why are you giving me this offensive
But you know
line
what though,
here?
Mac? You know what though, Mac? People pay for stuff. I was watching.
They do.
I forgot what Netflix show I was watching, but it was like college kids or whatever. And there was somebody the kid was working at the convenience store, and somebody like came in for something, and like it was like a cup of coffee, and he was like, "That's $30," and the kid like paid him, and then he like commented to his friend, he was like, "These college kids are so dumb. They're just like they don't know how much things cost." You know, like and so
like which credit card do I get for my dad?
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, daddy pays for everything. Like, who cares? Like, I don't know how much does a pack of gum cost? Oh, $20? Okay, here. So I feel like that's what's happening with these books, that it's like, the kids don't know better. They're just going to pay it. Who cares?
I mean, it's literally kids in college that are always getting busted for betting, right? They don't know what they're doing.
I will say this. I try to give this math lesson all the time when it comes to teasers. When you are doing 2-leg 6-point teaser, when you were doing it at the best odds of minus 120, that is the equivalent of parlaying 2 legs of minus 280.
Right.
And so when you look at spreads in the NFL and you see, okay, well, Arizona is a 6.5-point favorite over New Orleans. So I'm interested in teasing Arizona down, because then I'll just get them as at pretty much a pick 'em, laying
all
a
they
half
have to do
a
is
point.
win the game, man. All they have to do is
win the game. But this is where the math comes into play. Arizona is only minus 260 on the money line. And so why would you ever put it in a 2-leg parlay and make that 1 leg minus 280? If you think Arizona's going to win the game, just bet the money line at minus 260. There's so many people out there that are afraid to lay juice. And they're thinking, I can't lay this much money, so I might as well put it in a parlay, or I might as well tease it. You're losing money long term if you're playing it that way, because you are laying more juice than you have to. Again, at minus 120 odds on a 2-leg 6-point teaser, each individual leg is a minus 280 money line. So now you're taking a minus 260 money line in the Arizona Cardinals and betting them at minus 280. But this is what makes it even worse, Mackenzie. Now that these sports books are charging you more than minus 120 for a 2-leg teaser, that means that it's not parlaying 2 minus 280s. It's now parlaying to minus 300s?
Right.
To get the payout? And so now if I told you, hey, you think Arizona's going to win, you want to put them in a 2-leg teaser. But if I told you, hey, I'll pay you out on Arizona, you don't have to have your second team, but it's going to cost you minus 300 instead of the minus 260 money line. Would you bet it? No, you'd say, dude, you're stupid. Why would I lay minus 300? The line's minus 260. Why are you charging me extra juice? That's exactly what these books are doing to you on teasers. And
the
so
highway robbery
is
obfuscated. There's more steps than just we're charging you more than what it's worth. And by the way, it's equivalent. It's not better if it's minus 280s. It's going to be equivalent if you have 2 minus 280s. If you can find them at the same book, the better part of not doing even a parlay but betting twice two money lines is you can look at Circa. They have a minus 255 currently on the Cardinals. All right, I pluck that out, and I don't have to pay the expensive number that they have on the Broncos at minus 400. I go over to DraftKings where it's minus 380, and it's a little bit more work, but you're saving a lot of money, and that allows you to do this long term and up your ante.
So I'm just looking at a parlay calculator right now, parlaying two legs, each of them minus 300. That gives you minus 129 odds. So
Right.
when these
So
sports
minus
books are
310,
charging you,
we're looking at something like that.
when these sports books are charging you minus 135 on a teaser, you're essentially laying two legs that are each what? Minus 315? Let's see. 315 and 315 is minus 136. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So if I told you, okay, you can have the Arizona Cardinals, they got to beat the Saints, it's going to cost you minus 315. You'd be out of your mind to bet that.
I feel like there's almost a way to arbitrage where it's like we can like stop people at the counter of DraftKings in Arizona for looking at them walk up to the counter and be like, no, I will literally take your action. Bet me. I will give you 5 cents extra.
Yes.
And you just get it from all parties where there's too much vig. They don't need all that vig. They're being greedy. That creates opportunity to someone to
I'll tell you
them.
what. Anybody that wants to bet a two-leg teaser, right, and the money line is like minus 260 or minus 255 or whatever, I will gladly house your bet, but I'm going to charge you minus 315. So if you want to come to the sports book of Scott, right, I will house your bet. You don't even need to pair it up with somebody else. Actually, you do need to pair it up with somebody else because, like, that's the whole idea of the two-leg teaser. But I'm going to charge you minus 315 on the money line instead of a minus 260. So we'll see if you're able to do that. So that's my teaser math lesson for the day. I get so fired up with these things because I hear so many of these other podcasts out there and content creators that are like they just magically they throw out the teaser word like it's just the easy way to bet, right? It's the easy way to bet. Just take these two teams and tease them together, sure. Now, when you're teasing up, that's a different story. You're going to take the Baltimore Ravens, let's say, and you're going to tease them up, which, by the way, we've seen movement now on that game as well as what it's now. Oh, so Buffalo, it's now what, Baltimore is the favorite now in that game?
Yeah, which is the same line that it was 6 months ago in the playoffs where the Ravens had two fumbles and, other shenanigans dropped a 2-point conversion and they lost by 2 points. So the market really says that game was good. It's the regular season now. We're not as worried about the Ravens. They're the best team in the AFC, according to Vegas.
Now, people are wondering, well, why are we seeing movement now? Well, it's a simple explanation. Now that we are in the week of the games, the limits are raised at these sports books. Right. And so the books are now taking more money on these games, and that's influencing the lines. So whereas the early bets come in, the limit might only have been 2,000 or 3,000. Now we're in the week of the game. We're seeing the limits go much, much higher, especially at books like Circa and the Westgate and whatnot. Yeah. So the limits are increased here the week of the game, and so we're seeing these big bets come in and influence the markets here. There was
maybe not if you're Steve Fezzik. But if you're Floyd Mayweather, you can walk up with $5 million and get down on an NFL side. Not today, maybe, but NFL Sunday, they have so much action both ways, they're happy to take money.
There was an incredible tweet that was sent out yesterday, and I made sure to like it so I can talk about it here on the show and relate it to this game because this is the game, the Bills and the Ravens. We've talked about this ad nauseum now. It's the classic Steve Fezzik. Give me either team plus 1.5, and I'm going to tease it up. Right? Doesn't matter who you. We'll let the books pick. You pick who you want it to be. Plus 1.5. I'm going to tease it up to 7.5. Well, here's the tweet, and this is from Doug Clausen on Twitter, who is a researcher at CBS Sports. Lamar Jackson has gone 52 consecutive starts without losing by more than 7 points. That includes the playoffs. That is the longest streak since at least 1950.
You know what's crazy about that stat?
Yeah.
Is I quoted the exact same type of stat for the Buffalo Bills when they went into Baltimore, and I could get them up to 7.5 because it had been like 46 straight games with Josh Allen not being blown out, and then he got his doors kicked off. Not one time, and never since. So sometimes teasing up doesn't work out. But I would be surprised, borderline shocked, to see the Ravens lose by 10 here.
Yeah, so I mean, this is the type of game where I'll take either team plus the 7.5. Now that we've had a flip and I get the home Buffalo Bills at plus 1.5, they are the ideal teaser candidate to push them up to 7.5.
And when we were talking coaches and John Harbaugh's great record, it is John Harbaugh, yeah, the older brother. Yeah, John Harbaugh's great record in week 1, we said, Ravens tease makes sense. It really makes sense, not with the same game, to tease the Bills now if you have that in pocket. So both teams you have at plus 7.5 entering Sunday night.
It's an incredible way to bet when you have both these teams plus 7.5 and you're watching that Sunday night football game. I will have an NFL predictions article, the NFL predictions article, coming out later on today. So make sure you keep it locked into your email inbox. It'll get delivered to you as long as you are a betterday.com subscriber. It's going to get emailed to you. So you'll get that later on today. It is our official NFL predictions for this season. And could they all go wrong? Sure. It can. Could they all go right? Absolutely. And if they all go right,
opinions on every team. You have 32 over-unders. You have all of it?
No. This is every division winner.
Okay.
And this is the wild card teams and the playoffs. So I will give you each division winner. I will give you the odds on each division winner, the current odds. I'll give you the 3 wild card teams in each conference. So if they're not a division winner, these are the other teams that will make the postseason. And then I will tell you who is in the NFC Championship game, the AFC Championship game, and the Super Bowl. And you will have those selections. It'll all be in the article for you coming out later on today. College football programming reminder later on today, 1 o'clock Eastern time. I'll be hosting episode 2 this week of the BetUS TV college football show. We did a couple of games on yesterday's program. We have more games coming up here for this weekend on today's program. So you want to make sure that you tune into that show. And we'll get you all the picks here for college football week number 2. We did have some change in the top 25. New rankings came out yesterday. Your new number 1 team in the nation, no surprise, Ohio State. Congratulations, big win over Texas. They are now your new number 1 team in the nation. Penn State is number 2. LSU is number 3. Georgia 4. Miami up to number 5. Oregon up to number 6. Texas drops to 7th. Clemson is at 8, Notre Dame 9, and South Carolina is at 10. Now, the biggest jump, Florida State goes from unranked to 14. This is too big of a jump. I agree, Mackenzie. Like, they looked great against Alabama, and I have a lot of betting FOMO for not taking Florida State. I did not put enough stock into Gus Malzahn calling the offense there for the Seminoles with Thomas Castellanos. But I thought that game was more about Alabama looking unprepared than Florida State looking like the 14th best team in the country.
Yeah.
I think that, and you know what, listen, maybe the schedule is going to, work out for them where they're going to win a bunch of games and they'll climb up the rankings or they'll prove they deserve to be in the rankings because they do have winnable games here. East Texas A&M, Kent State, Virginia, they'll be 4-0. But then they play Miami. If they get blown out by Miami, and then they play Pitt, Stanford's a winnable game. Clemson, if they get blown out by Clemson, Va Tech, NC State, Florida at the end of the year, they'll be dogs against Florida. Jumping them to 14 is a big adjustment. I don't agree with that.
Currently 7th, Alabama is in the title odds. Florida State is 120 to 1. Would be kind of shocking. Tony Kornheiser of PTI had the great stat on Alabama, which I do think makes the story more about Alabama than Florida State. Mm-hmm. Nick Saban, in his 10, 15 years of championship run, discounting his first year, had 4 losses to unranked teams. Alabama, in their last 14 games, has 4 losses to unranked teams with their new coach. It's not the same program. It's not the same in the trenches. It's just not the same.
So I looked this up earlier, and this applies to some schools here this week, but other schools it doesn't necessarily apply to, because some of these games are completely off the board because of how big the spreads are, and they're like FCS schools or whatever. But if you beat a ranked opponent, forget about what week it is, any week of the season, if you beat a ranked opponent as an underdog, so you won as a dog against a ranked team, and then the next week you play an unranked team, how do you think those teams do? Like, this is the classic
Poorly.
letdown spot, right?
Yes.
Like, how do you think they do?
Adrenaline dump, letdown spot. I'm going to say post-COVID era since 2021, 40% ATS. They're 4-10.
57 and 76 ATS, 42.9% against the spread.
It's that easy. And yet betting
Yeah.
sports is not that easy. But yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It is very
Now,
logical.
if we just isolate this from the start of the 2023 season, so just in the last 2 years, 2023 and 2024, because this is like the new era of college football, right? NILs, transfer portals, all that stuff. 28 and 40 against the spread, 41.2%. The only game that qualifies this week, there's 3 teams that won as a dog against a ranked opponent that play this week: Florida State, Miami, and LSU. But Florida State and Miami's games, there's no line because they play Western Texas, A&M, whatever, and Bethune-Cookman.
LSU if you can go to
takes
your bartender and tell him 70 points, take it.
Yeah. LSU takes on Louisiana Tech. LSU is a 37.5-point favorite. Louisiana Tech is the play. That is the letdown spot.
Louisiana
for LSU.
Tech play of the decade. They will never be a better spot for Louisiana Tech.
Yeah. They are plus 37.5. That is the play because, again, teams coming off of a win as a dog against a ranked opponent and now playing an unranked opponent since the start of the 2023 season, 28 and 40 against the spread. Just last season alone, these teams were 16 and 21 ATS, which is, again, 43%. Profitable betting the other sides here. You're profitable betting the other sides here. Plenty more college football coming up as we progress throughout the week, and we lead into the weekend with a massive Football Friday episode coming your way for both the NFL and college football. Let's get into some baseball. Major League Baseball last night, our picks up on betterday.com and in the Better Day newsletter, won a perfect 2-0. We hit the over 7.5 in the Astros-Yankees game, and if you were unable to grab the 7.5 and you waited till later in the day and you had the 8, well, you earned yourself a push. Yankees did get the win 7-1 in that game last night as they beat up on Framber Valdez and the Houston Astros. And you know what I love about this, Mackenzie?
Tell me.
When a handicap plays out exactly how you think it's going to play out. What I said on the pod yesterday was that the Yankees lineup, with that short porch in left field with the Crawford boxes, is not going to be held quiet. And there's going to be a home run that is popped to that left field wall that might be a cheapie, but it's going to help us cash this over. Trent Grisham's grand slam last night would have been a home run in only 5 ballparks around Major League Baseball.
Nice. What a handicap.
Only 5 ballparks in Major League Baseball. One of them, of course, being the Crawford boxes there in Houston. So we cashed that. And we also cashed with Nolan McLean, the Mets' young phenom, going over 5.5 strikeouts. And this got sweaty at one point because he couldn't find it early in the game. His curveball was moving too much. It seemed like he had 2 strikes on every batter, but he walked 3 guys early in the first 2 innings. All 3 of them were on 3-2 counts. And then he was giving up singles, including the 2 runs that he gave up in the first inning were both on 2 strike counts. And so I'm sitting here going, oh my goodness, like this kid he doesn't have the put away stuff tonight. He's not able to find strike 3. Well, he settled in beautifully. McLean retires the final 14 batters that he faces. He finishes with 7 strikeouts, 6 innings, only 2 runs allowed on 3 hits, and 2 of them came in the first inning. Those 2 runs came in the first inning, and he raised his ERA, unfortunately, to 1.37, but he is now 4-0 for the New York Mets, who win 12-5 against the Tigers. I mean, this kid's the real deal.
Nolan McLean. That's a Hall of Famer's name if I've ever heard of one.
So the kid was apparently a quarterback at Oklahoma State, and he stopped playing football after his freshman year to concentrate on baseball. How about that?
Good choice so far. We'll see. 1.37 ERA. It did tick up, but 1.37 ERA is pretty good.
Exactly. Also, last night, Cal Raleigh homered once again, and you weren't on the pod when I coined this phrase, but we have a new name now, Mackenzie, for anybody that is pushing the narrative that Cal Raleigh should be the American League MVP. Those people are known now as dumper pumpers. That is their name. So I tweeted this out last night after Cal Raleigh hit that home run, and the tweets were all over the place. Switch hitter, 51 home runs, catcher, 51 home runs. Like, cool. I said that was his 8th hit in his last 40 at-bats. It's a 200 batting average. Okay.
Which was what he did yesterday, 1 for 5.
1 for 5 yesterday. Yeah. What's his batting average now? It's below 240, right? It's like 2 something. He was at 244 after the home run. Yeah, 242. Meanwhile, Aaron Judge with another multi-hit game. He is now Aaron Judge minus 300 to win the American League MVP. Cal Raleigh plus 200. Again, these markets are reactive, not predictive, but still, again, if you are pushing this Cal Raleigh narrative because he hits home runs, you are a dumper pumper, and you will always be known as a dumper pumper.
You remember when Felix Hernandez beat CC Sabathia for the Cy Young, and he was like 12 and 11? People don't want to say, oh, it just comes down to analytics, and if you just look at who's better in analytics, they're going to be better. But I'm not saying it's 100% that, but it's 90% that. I mean, if you're looking at EPA in the NFL for quarterbacks, or you're looking at some of the advanced metrics that I like in the NBA, they're not going to be that wrong if they're the best at what they do. Wins above replacement, takes position into account, takes defense into account, takes everything into account. Kyle Raleigh's really good. He might be the 5th best player in baseball this year. He doesn't come close to Aaron Judge. And Juan Soto, by the way, number 3 in offensive WAR. That surprised me. He didn't even make the All-Star team.
Yeah, right. That's the biggest joke it's the biggest joke ever. But yeah, Soto is having an MVP second half for sure. Judge, his wins above replacement is now 7.4. Cal Raleigh is at 5.6. So
great season for a catch or anybody. Great season.
It's an incredible season.
About it.
I mean, he's going to win a Silver
50
Slugger.
home runs once.
Yeah, he's going to win a Silver Slugger. Congratulations! Like, that's awesome. Like, here, hold on. I want to do this. I really want to look this up. Okay. List of players that have hit 50 home runs in a season in Major League Baseball. Okay. Here we go. Courtesy of Sarah Langs. Congratulations, Cal Raleigh, who joins this list. And there's some incredible names on this list. So I'm not going to bore you with the Aaron Judges and the Shohei Ohtanis and, all that stuff. Chris Davis of the Baltimore Orioles in 2013 hit 53 home runs.
Who?
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. Here we go. Andrew Jones in 2005 hit 51 home runs.
I remember that season. He was a good catcher. I mean, outfielder too. Good
he was great. He was great, but he didn't win the MVP. He finished behind Albert Pujols. Yeah, didn't win the MVP. Luis Gonzalez in Arizona, the year that they won the World Series.
Yep. He was in a race with Sammy Sosa for that spring from a lot of it.
57 home runs. Yep. He finished 3rd in the MVP voting behind Barry Bonds and Sammy Sosa. Greg Vaughn, who I believe is Fezzik's neighbor.
Yeah, I think so.
He hit 50 home runs in 1998. Fourth
tell
place.
Fezzik to walk over there and see his MVP trophy and report back.
4th place in the MVP voting that year. 4th place.
Be an awkward conversation. Hey, can I see your MVP trophy? I heard you hit 50 home runs.
1996, Brady Anderson for Baltimore hit 50 home runs. Yep, there we go.
Brady Anderson. Good for him.
It's unbelievable.
He was a player of the week. Does that count?
Yeah, it's like, come on. Like, Cal Raleigh's, it's a great season. It's an incredible home run season. He's just not the MVP. And I think people are starting to realize it with every 0 for 4 and 1 for 5 that he has.
You know who's having a better season than Cal Raleigh, who you've not heard about until he hit 4 home runs, maybe in one game, is Kyle Schwarber. He has 2 less home runs,
Yeah.
but a better batting average, a better OPS. He's probably slightly better.
There's a lot
Or
of players
slightly
that are
worse.
having. There's a lot of players that are having much better seasons than Cal Raleigh.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's
he's batting
fifth or
below.
sixth in the league.
He's batting below the league average.
Yeah.
Like it's not even close. Like it's unbelievable. Anyway, let's take a look at the schedule for today in Major League Baseball here on this Wednesday. We do have a couple of games. The Marlins at the Nationals. Yuri Perez goes for the Marlins. Mitch Parker for the Nationals. Mets are at the Tigers. Clay Holmes for the Mets. And Casey Mize goes for Detroit. Rangers are at the Diamondbacks. Jack Leiter, who's been really good lately for the Rangers, goes up against Zach Gallen. The Rangers, I don't know how they're doing it, Mac, because this is a team, they lost yesterday. But prior to that loss, they had won 6 straight games, 9 of their last 10 games. They have surged into the American League wild card race, despite losing their entire team to the IL. Like everybody's hurt. And like Nathan Eovaldi's now done for the season. Like it's just, it would seem like morale would be at an all-time low, but yet they just keep winning baseball games, and they are a game and a half back of the Mariners now for the third wild card in the American League. The Royals are 2.5 games back. Rays are 3.5 games back. All right, elsewhere on your schedule in Major League Baseball, the Orioles are at the Padres. Cade Povich for the Orioles. Nestor Cortez goes for the Padres. Shohei Ohtani is back on the mound for the Dodgers. He hit his 100th career home run yesterday. Congratulations, Ohtani. Pirates will counter with Ben Ashcraft. Blue Jays are at the Reds. Shane Bieber back on the mound for the Blue Jays. Zach Littell goes for the Reds. And you already know, guys, we are on the Zach Littell fade train. We love fading Zach Littell because all of his underlying metrics just completely don't add up with the pitcher, with the result that he has gotten so far on the season. And if you just look at his most recent, where we have been fading him, 4 runs allowed against St. Louis, and the Reds lost that game. We cashed. 4 runs allowed against Arizona. The Reds lost that game, and we cashed. He only allowed 1 run against Milwaukee, but the Brewers still won that game, so we cashed there. 4 runs against the Pirates, but they actually won that game. That was crazy, the Reds winning that game. But the reason why we love fading a pitcher like this is just because, as I mentioned, the underlying metrics don't add up. Now, he has decreased his left on base percentage a little bit, but he is still 4th in Major League Baseball, Zach Littell is, in left on base percentage. The only difference between him and the rest of the players that are in the top, let's call it 15, no, let's go even further. Let's go top 20, let's go top 24, because there we go. The only difference between, if we look at the top 24 pitchers in left on base percentage, Zach Littell has the lowest Ks per 9. I say 24 because the 25th player, Tomoyuki Suguano, in left on base percentage has a 6.08 Ks per 9, and Littell is at 6.15. But let's go further. This is great. I want to go further here. How about this is amazing.
So he gets into trouble and he doesn't have the stuff to get out of it, but for whatever reason, he's gotten lucky. He's gotten lucky so far. But you said those numbers are kind of coming down. That's what's going to happen. They're going to regress.
Yes.
You want to be on that train before the odds adjust.
Yes. Of the top 50 pitchers in baseball in left on base percentage, ranking from the number 1, Freddie Peralta at 85.1%. Zach Littell is at 82.6%. All the way to number 50, Dylan Cease, 67.3%. There is only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Zach Littell is among 5 of the 50 pitchers. Only 5 of them have strikeouts per 9 that are below 7. And Zach Littell is one of them. Those other 4 guys are in the 6s, and Zach Littell is the 2nd lowest, or 3rd lowest, excuse me. Unbelievable. We are fading him. We're going to back Shane Bieber here and the Toronto Blue Jays. I would like to isolate them, though, and I would like to go with the Blue Jays in the first 5 innings, only because I haven't trusted the Blue Jays bullpen. Say that 10 times fast. They haven't been good, and they've been surrendering a bunch of runs, including a game where, hey, we got lucky and won with the Reds earlier here this week when the Reds blew a lead. Emilio Pagan blew the save in the 9th inning, and I thought we got unlucky. But then the Blue Jays blew the save in the bottom of the 9th inning. So we went from being unlucky to then lucky. So we feel good about that. But we're going to
Say
isolate the
the
Blue Jays.
Toronto Blue Jays bullpen blew the save 10 times fast. That's the ultimate.
Blue Jays bullpen blew the save. Blue Jays.
Very good. I'll give you a
first
beef.
five. Blue Jays first five minus a half a run, minus 128. I would also take a look at the Blue Jays team total in the first 5 innings. Their offense is hot, and I think they will get to Zach Littell in this one. Guardians are at the Red Sox. Logan Allen on the mound for Cleveland, and Brian Bernardino on the mound for the Red Sox. Mariners are at the Rays. George Kirby for Seattle. Adrian Hauser goes for the Rays. Angels are at the Royals. Ryan Bergert for the Royals, and Caden Dana going on the mound for the Angels. Braves are at the Cubs. Bryce Elder for the Braves. Cade Horton, who's Rookie of the Year candidate, on the mound for the Chicago Cubs. Zebby Matthews goes for the Twins. Gomez will counter for the White Sox. Phillies are at the Brewers. Aaron Nola for Philadelphia. Jose Quintana for Milwaukee. Jeffrey Springs goes for the A's in St. Louis against Matthew Liberatore and the Cardinals. Yankees and Astros at it once again. Will Warren for the Yankees. Jason Alexander for the Astros. And the Giants are at the Rockies. Robbie Ray for the Giants and Herman Marquez for the Colorado Rockies. So the best bet will be the Blue Jays in the first 5 innings. And I'm sure I'll have some other bets up for you later on today up on betterday.com. Speaking of betterday.com, make sure that you are subscribed and you are getting the emails, the daily newsletter each and every morning. I will email out the NFL predictions article coming up later on today, as well as our announcement for what we are going to be doing on Friday. Very cool for all of you members here on the website. We hope you enjoy it. It'll be a Q&A session. So I will send out the details about that. You'll get it in your email inbox, and it'll tell you when and where and how to view and how to ask your questions, and might have a special guest or two, maybe talking some contest strategy with it being week 1 of the NFL season. You want to get your Survivor picks in. You want to get your Circa Millions picks in, right? So lots of strategy to be discussed here this weekend. And I promised some fantasy football content, so I will try and deliver on that promise to you guys as well. So you want to make sure that you are locked in. Go to betterday.com and make sure you subscribe. It's free right now. So just go ahead and subscribe. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. You know what they say, Mackenzie? If it's free, it's for me.
Yes, sir.
He's Mackenzie
$3.99.
Rivers. You can follow him on Twitter at Mac and Rivers. You can follow me on Twitter at Scott's On Air. I'll talk to you at 1 o'clock Eastern time on the BetUS TV College Football Show. And here's hoping you make today and every day a better day.